May I come in, sir?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Shashwat, please introduce yourself.
Sir, my name is Shashwat Agrawal. I originally hail from Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. I have done my graduation in political science from Delhi University. Post that, sir, I have worked for 1 year as a legislative assistant to a member of parliament, that is the LAMP Fellowship at TRS Legislative Research. After that, sir, I have pursued my Masters in Development and Labour Studies from JNU. Post that, sir, I have been preparing for the civil services, and this is my third attempt and first interview.
Okay. Then what are your hobbies?
So my hobbies include undertaking heritage walks as well as indulging in reflective diary writing.
Okay. Have you seen any heritage walk out of India?
No, sir, I have not undertook heritage walks out of India per se, but within India, I have tried to stroll maximum number of places.
Okay. But is it possible sitting in India to see a heritage walk out of India, outside of India?
Sir, the digital medium has enabled, watching heritage sites, in fact, in a more, virtual space. But my own opinion is, sir, that the real-time experience that you get at a heritage site.
Have you been curious to see what is happening? How heritage walks are organized outside?
Yes, sir, I am curious and I hope to do that in future.
But you have not seen so far.
No, sir, I have not got the opportunity yet, sir.
You better do.
Yes, sir, I hope so.
It's something which can be very, very interesting. Have you heard of a country called Malta?
Yes, sir.
What is peculiar about Malta?
Sir, I'm not exactly able to recall anything specific about Malta.
Okay. So Malta is on the Mediterranean. And they are trying to develop that place. They have, by the way, the United Nations International Institute of Aging also.
Okay.
So they are trying to develop that place as an elderly friendly city. It's not a very big country. Malta itself, the capital, they are trying to develop as an elderly friendly city. So what in your view could be the features of an elderly friendly city? They have made it for tourism, of course.
Sir, to what I can think of, an elderly friendly city can consist of various infrastructure that are more suited to the elderly. For instance, availability of ramps as well as wheelchairs at most of its tourist sites. Secondly, sir, there can also be a hub for old age homes. There can be specific facilities for taking care of the elderly, the health facilities in these areas, and they can become a center for healthcare tourism as well. So these are the three things that I can recall.
What is the percentage of elderly in India?
Sir, as per census 2011, it was 11%. However, sir, now it has increased up to 15 to 16%.
As per 2011 it was not 11%. Very confusing.
So that was what I can last recall. I'll take a tab on that, sir. Again.
It was 8.6%.
Okay, sir.
Presently it's about 10% and it will become 20% by 2050.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Okay.
Anyway. Now, what I am trying to propose to you is that we sell India to the world because India has all kinds of weather. We have bright sunshine, So we sell this country to the elderly of the world to come and spend their old age here. So what is your take on this?
Sir, indeed, sir, it is actually a very unique idea that can boost India's tourism potential as well. Where we can invite elderly people from all across the world to spend some time in India.
I didn't say sometime. Spend their old age in India.
Yes, sir. Sir, if I can connect certain thoughts on this, Firstly, sir, India has a very diverse geographical landscape where there are beaches also as well as there are hillsides also. So elderlies from across the world can find this to be very suitable for whatever their choice is. Secondly, sir, India is culturally a very vibrant place. If someone wants to assuage themselves spiritually, in their old age they can find solace in places like Haridwar or Uttarakhand or other places around.
Okay. The second suggestion I am giving is that you studied from which college? JNU.
So,
So let's say JNU has a shortage of hostel. So if the administration of JNU proposes to the new batch that instead of staying in hostel, we have marked all the homes in say 5 kilometer vicinity where elderly are living alone. So you go and stay with that elderly
yes, sir.
and pay nominal amount to the elderly. So what is your take on this?
Sir, again, sir, it's a very unique idea, and it would actually arrest the increasing tendency of what is in sociology called as the empty nest syndrome, where when the younger ones of the family depart for either job or education purposes, then most of the elderly feel very alone at their home place. If implemented in a successive fashion, and there would be some challenges to its implementation as well, sir. This could have a very significant impact. Not just
What
would
are the
it.
challenges?
So the first challenge would be that probably the younger generation might find it difficult to culturally assimilate themselves with the elderly, specifically living with them. Secondly, sir, they might feel that their freedom is getting curtailed in terms of their own decisions. So these are the two challenges I can think of.
Has any country tried this?
Sir, I'm not exactly aware about any best practice around it.
In Germany they are doing it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Well, Shashwat, you appeared for CDS Combined Defense Services. What happened finally?
Sir, actually, I had filled the form for the Combined Defense Services. So the decision to fill the form also was in the formative years of my career planning. After that, sir, I decided not to appear in the exam.
Good. So, reflective diary writing is your hobby.
So,
What happened last day? You are to write. Give me 3 lines.
sir, the three thoughts that I have documented in my own diary as a part of this reflective writing, sir. So firstly is, sir, that in life, sir, my own analysis is that there are controlled controllables and uncontrolled uncontrollables. There are things that is in my control which I should take complete cognizance of, but there are things that would be out of my control which I should leave to my fate and not worry about in the first place. So this was one of the things that I had written yesterday only, and this has actually helped me a lot. This philosophy has helped me a lot navigating in tumultuous times.
The other?
So the second is that we tend to be too soft on ourselves. At times we have to be very hard on ourselves while taking decisions. And so the third is that no decision is right or wrong. Each decision has to be made right or wrong. It is up to us how we implement that decision, and that decides the righteousness of the decision itself.
So, the last year was the International Year of the Millets.
Yes, sir.
We had certain targets. Could we meet? What do you think?
So the government launched the promotion of millets as a Shri in last year's budget. In terms of the figures, sir, I'm not exactly aware about the targets and it's whether it has been achieved or not, sir. But I'll take a tab on that, sir, again.
Why we prefer millets over other cereals?
So millets provides a number of other benefits compared to the other cereals that can otherwise be very gluten-centric. Firstly, some millets are gluten-free. They are relatively more climate-friendly. They are easy to grow, and even a small or a marginal farmer can grow millets in their proximity.
With such added, benefits, still we are procuring in the PDS wheat and the rice.
Yes, sir.
What is the idea? Why we prefer wheat and rice? Why not the millets? In the procurement, then in the distribution.
Sir, after the Green Revolution, our overall agrarian cycle became highly cereal-centric. where wheat and rice became the core products that we tend to produce, especially in the North Indian states. So when PDS was introduced, the essential idea was also to give a sense of income security to the farmers, and therefore the procurement of wheats and rice became very important. Unfortunately, sir, we have not been able to move ahead of this idea, where we are having severe, excess of wheat as well as rice production as well as storage taking place. Therefore, there is need to promote millets even in those areas where cereal centricity is seen.
My last question is, what will happen if we stop procuring wheat and rice?
So there can be multiple impacts if the government stops procuring wheat and rice. So the first can be that the level of income security that the farmers have due to the MSP system might dilute. Secondly, sir, it might cause problems of food insecurity because we are seeing that there was shortage of wheat, especially last year when the Russia-Ukraine crisis reached its crescendo. Thirdly, sir, adding to this, sir, in my understanding, the only positive side can be that if we stop procuring wheat and rice, but at the same time promote other crops like millets, like pulses, like vegetables and fruits, that can have an overarching positive impact in our agrarian cycle.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sir.
Shashwat, you are from Varanasi, right?
Sir.
Varanasi has become nowadays very much in news because it is the constituency of the Prime Minister.
Yes, sir.
A lot of effort have been made to improve the quality of Ganga water. But the quality is still questionable. Why is it so?
Sir, indeed, sir, there has been various efforts in order to promote cleanliness in the Ganga water. The Namami Ganga program and the National Ganga Rejuvenation Mission are part of the same. However, sir, firstly, there has been lapses in terms of achieving our targets because there has been, firstly, sir, there has been delays in the dispersal of funds as well as the implementation of existing projects of the Namami Ganga mission. We see that the overall emission of effluents in Ganga water is 12,000 million litre a day, 12,000 MLDs as it is called as. Whereas the targets have been only fulfilled for 5,000 of million litres of these effluents, the processing of these effluents. So we fail to meet our targets in terms of the establishment of the sewage processing plants. Secondly, sir, there has been a lack of behavioral change in the psyche of the people. Still, we see that because of religious values, there are various disposals of waste, of even culturally,
Right.
rich places.
Yeah, got it. Your parents are in business. Both our parents are in business.
Yes, sir.
What business they are in?
Sir, both my mom and my father have a luggage business. They are self-employed. They have their own retail shop in Varanasi.
Okay. And you have a hobby of heritage walks. So you undertake a heritage walk. When a building or a place we call heritage, is there any criteria to call heritage? I mean, otherwise, you're like this hotel. Why it is not called heritage?
Sir, the government of India, in my understanding, does not has an objective criteria for giving the tag of heritage per se. But the UNESCO has a World Heritage Committee that gives the status of heritage sites to some of the very popular heritage areas.
So when you say you undertake heritage walk, so you undertake walk only for the building or the places which have been declared by UNESCO heritage?
No, sir, not necessarily, sir.
Then how you decide is heritage?
Sir, generally these are the places that are culturally very unique,
Okay.
that have a historical background to it. And they have some sense of, if it is a natural place, it has some sense of uniqueness in it. For instance, endangering of any animal or plant species per se.
Okay. You're given a choice of foreign service as the first choice.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us why you have selected Indian foreign service as your first choice?
Sir, I wanted to pursue Indian foreign services, sir, because as a part of an IFS officer, I can work across diverse work assignments. at a time when India's diplomatic and economic clout is growing at the world stage rapidly.
Mhm.
I would have a direct role in implementing India's foreign policy and get the ability to represent India at a global stage.
You got a Best Delegate Award at International Symposium on SDGs. Can you tell us what the SDGs are all about?
So the Sustainable Development Goals have been brought in by the United Nations after the completion of the Millennium Development Goals.
Which year was it?
Sir, if I can recall correctly, it was 2012.
15.
15, sir. Thank you, sir, for correcting. Where the UN targets to complete some of the very crucial challenges that the world faces ahead of us by the year 2030. There are 17 goals in total that are targeted to be achieved across different areas, ranging from poverty to climate, gender, among others. And there have been some objective criteria as well as some targets that are to be fulfilled.
How they are being monitored?
So at the international level, UN monitors it by getting what is called as, if I can recall correctly, sir, the country report, the national status or the national report of individual countries that the government submits. However, at the national level, sir, we have organizations like the Niti Aayog that bring in its own SDG report, where they rank the states in terms of the SDG indexes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Shashwat,
Sir.
you belong to Varanasi.
Yes, sir.
Varanasi is also known as spiritual capital. So, how being a spiritual capital is beneficial for the public of Varanasi in economic as well as in social perspective?
Sir, rightly pointed out, the Varanasi is called as the spiritual capital of India. It is also called as a temple town. Sir, it benefits the public significantly, sir. Economically, sir, it becomes a great tourism hub. We see that sites like Sarnath, the Kashi Vishwanath corridor, the Sankat Motion temple, among others, invite lakhs of and millions of tourists from across the world into Varanasi. That provides employment as well as livelihood opportunities for the locals. Socially, sir, it allows us to get the best practices and the opportunity to assimilate with everyone around in our society. So Varanasi in a way becomes a global place where we have the assimilation of global as well as the local, and we get a very cosmopolitan perspective in terms of.
So, being in Varanasi, you have stayed there. So any negative impact you feel for being such a crowded place and having so much of tourism in Varanasi? You being a person from Varanasi, do you feel?
Sir, I would not call it as a negative impact, but it indeed creates certain challenges in terms of governance. For instance, whenever there is a Kumbh Mela, then in Varanasi there is a significant traffic problem that leads to congestion. Secondly, sir, it also causes overburdening of our infrastructure. And thirdly, sir, it also has at times a negative impact on the environment. For instance, the Ganga river is one of the examples of the same.
And your father and mother both are a business
Yes, sir.
field. So why have not pursued your family business? Why not civil services?
So, since my childhood, I had a dream of getting into the public services, and that is why I chose that after my 11th and 12th, I would pursue humanities as a subject. So, the area of business is very interesting, but I think I don't have any expertise in it, and I would be able to do justice with my own potential and abilities more in the civil services, where I can reach out to the public at large.
Okay. There was a policy regarding the coaching of the small kids, below 16 years. Do you know what was that?
Sir, I can recall it for the state of Uttar Pradesh.
No, it's a general for whole of India.
Sir, I'm not
Coaching
exactly,
for students below 16 years.
sir, I'm not exactly aware about the
Okay.
national policy.
Okay. They are banned, the students, you cannot enroll students below 16 years
Okay, sir.
in coaching. So would you feel that why this kind of policy has been implemented, and what do you feel that is this the step and which is going to control such kind of coaching, or in other way will be the same way is going on?
Sir, if I can recall correctly, sir, the policy is that at the age of less than 16 years, the students should not be required to
Yes.
go coaching services. Sir, I think it's a positive step. Firstly, sir, because these coaching institutions provide, tuition for higher competitions like IIT, JEEs, and NEET at a very young age, probably starting from class 6 or class 9.
That's
Which
right.
inculcates a spirit of very fierce competition among the students. Secondly, sir, these are also exploitative economically. Students who come from underprivileged background find it difficult to join these expensive coachings. And thirdly, sir, it also inculcates a spirit of role learning where the culture of peer-to-peer learning in these schools get depreciated.
Okay. My last question to you: what are the 3 qualities a person should have to become a civil servant?
So the first and the most important quality is to have integrity and honesty towards one's work. So the second is the utmost dedication to public service and the larger public good. And so the third is to be very disciplined in one's own action. So these are the 3 essential qualities in my understanding.
Do you have these qualities?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.